Imagine walking into a negotiation room, your heart pounding but with a confident smile on your face. You're not just walking into any room. You're stepping into an arena of words where battles are won and lost through wit, charm, and resolve. Welcome to the art of negotiation, a delicate dance between diplomacy and toughness. So, what makes a good negotiator? Is it the natural charm that disarms the opposition, or is it the assertive stance that stands firm on principles and objectives? Well, it's a bit of both. A successful negotiator is someone who can blend the warmth of a friend with the resolve of a warrior. This balance is the key to turning adversaries into allies and conflicts into compromises. Establishing a connection is the first step in this dance. It's about extending a hand of friendship with a friendly and engaging tone. It's about showing genuine interest in the other party's perspective and building rapport. Positive body language, a warm smile, a firm handshake. These are the tools of a skilled negotiator, but don't be fooled. Beneath that friendly demeanor lies a core of steel. A good negotiator stands firm on their principles and objectives. They understand that while the tone is the melody, the substance is the rhythm of negotiation. Without a strong rhythm, the melody is just noise. Finding common ground is the bridge that connects the melody and rhythm. It's about actively listening, empathizing, and understanding the other party's perspective. It's about finding that sweet spot where both parties' interests overlap. Striking this balance between diplomacy and toughness is not an easy task. It requires a keen sense of timing, a deep understanding of human nature, and a knack for strategic thinking. But when done right, it can lead to mutually beneficial agreements that satisfy both parties. Negotiation is an art, and the canvas is your conversation. Every word, every gesture, every silence is a brushstroke that shapes the outcome. So, the next time you step into that negotiation room, remember, you're not just negotiating, you're creating a masterpiece. To negotiate successfully, the first step is to establish a connection. Now, we're not talking about a simple handshake or a polite hello. This connection goes far deeper than that. It's about creating an engaging and friendly atmosphere right from the get-go. And how do we do this? Well, it's all about tone and body language. Imagine walking into a room with a warm smile, maintaining eye contact and exuding a sense of confidence. It's about displaying openness and approachability. Your tone should be inviting, fostering an environment that encourages dialogue and mutual understanding. A positive and engaging tone can be the key to building rapport. And why is this important, you ask? Because this connection, this rapport, is the glue that holds the negotiation together. It paves the way for open communication and a willingness to resolve any differences. So the next time you're at the negotiation table, remember to establish that connection. Remember, a good connection can be the foundation of a successful negotiation. While establishing a connection is vital, it's equally important to be firm. This is the cornerstone of any negotiation. To be a successful negotiator, you need to strike a balance between being friendly and standing your ground. Let's delve into what it means to be firm. It's not about being unyielding or obstinate. Rather, it's about having a clear understanding of your principles and objectives and not wavering from them. It's about being resolute without being rigid. It's about sticking to your guns while still respecting the other party's perspective. Think about it this way. You're a sailor navigating choppy seas. The boat is your negotiation, the sea is the other party's demands, and your destination is your objective. If you let the sea's currents dictate your course, you'll never reach your destination. But if you stick to your course firmly, while adjusting your sails as needed, you'll eventually reach your destination. Now, let's take a look at some real-world examples where being firm in negotiations has been crucial. Consider the negotiations that led to the formation of the European Union. Member states had to be firm on their principles of peace, democracy, and human rights. They couldn't compromise on these principles, even when faced with significant opposition. Or take the example of the Paris Agreement on climate change. Countries had to be firm on their commitment to reduce emissions despite the economic implications. They understood that the long-term survival of our planet was a non-negotiable objective. In both these examples, the negotiators were firm but not inflexible. They understood their objectives and stood by them, but they were also willing to make concessions in other areas to achieve these objectives. Remember, being firm doesn't mean you have to be confrontational or aggressive. It's about understanding what's important to you, what you're willing to compromise on, and what you're not. So next time you're in a negotiation, remember to be firm. Stand up for your principles and objectives, but also remember to be flexible in how you achieve them. Because at the end of the day, a successful negotiation is about finding a solution that benefits all parties involved. Being firm doesn't mean being rigid, it's about standing up for your objectives. Now, how do we bridge the gap between us and them? This is where the rubber meets the road in negotiation. Finding common ground is like turning the gears of a well-oiled machine, where two parts work together to achieve a common goal. Let's delve deeper into this. You see, negotiations aren't just about winning or losing, they're about understanding, about finding that sweet spot where both parties can nod in agreement. It's like a dance, where both partners move together in rhythm, each anticipating the other's steps. So how do we find this common ground? The answer lies in two key skills: active listening and empathy. Active listening is not just about hearing words, it's about understanding the underlying message, the unspoken sentiments. It's about picking up on the subtle cues, the hesitations, the nuances in tone. It's about truly hearing what the other party is saying and sometimes what they're not saying. Empathy, on the other hand, is about stepping into the other's shoes. It's about understanding their perspective, their concerns, their aspirations. Negotiations can often feel like a battlefield, but empathy transforms it into a meeting ground. It allows us to see beyond our own interests, to understand the needs of the other party. But remember, empathy is not about conceding, it's about understanding. It's about building bridges, not burning them. It's about finding that middle ground where both parties can stand together. Now, finding common ground doesn't mean you have to compromise your principles or objectives. Quite the contrary, it's about finding a solution that aligns with both your interests and the other parties. It's about creating a win-win situation. So, next time you find yourself in a negotiation, remember to listen actively and empathize genuinely. Understand the other party's perspective and find that common ground. It might not be easy, but it's certainly worth the effort. Because at the end of the day, negotiations are not just about getting what you want. They're about creating solutions that benefit everyone involved. And that, my friends, is the art of negotiation. Finding common ground can turn a standoff into a conversation. The key to successful negotiation lies in striking the right balance. It's like a delicate dance where one must know when to lead with a friendly smile and when to stand firm with a resolute expression. Imagine a scenario where a seasoned negotiator is attempting to secure a deal. The room is filled with tension, but she navigates it with grace and poise. She begins with a warm greeting, her tone friendly and inviting. She's engaging, she makes a joke, there's laughter. She's not just a negotiator in this moment, she's a friend, a colleague. This is the embodiment of diplomacy. But as the conversation progresses, the stakes rise. She doesn't shy away from asserting her needs. Her tone, while still respectful, becomes more firm. She's clear about her objectives, unwavering in her stance. This is toughness. The magic lies in how seamlessly she shifts between these two roles. She doesn't let the friendliness dilute her firmness, and neither does she let her firmness overshadow her friendliness. This dance, this balance, it's an art. Now picture another scenario, a heated negotiation with tempers flaring, yet our negotiator remains calm, composed. He listens, he empathizes, but he doesn't compromise on his principles. He's tough yet amiable. His ability to maintain this equilibrium, even amidst the storm, is the hallmark of a skilled negotiator. The impact of this balance is profound. It fosters trust, it builds rapport, and it leads to mutually beneficial agreements. It's not about winning or losing, it's about finding a solution that respects the interests of all parties involved. Striking this balance isn't easy, but it's not impossible either. It requires practice, patience, and a keen understanding of human emotions. It demands that we be flexible yet steadfast, empathetic yet assertive. In the dance of negotiation, balance is everything. Before you step onto the negotiation floor, preparation is key. It's akin to a chess player studying the board before making a move. You see, the art of negotiation is not just about the moment of interaction, it's about the hours, days, or even weeks of groundwork before that. It's about understanding your counterpart, their needs, their constraints, their motivations. It's about knowing your own boundaries, your goals, and your fallback position. Consider the grandmaster of chess, who doesn't merely react to the opponent's moves, but anticipates them, strategizes, and adjusts the game plan accordingly. Similarly, a well-prepared negotiator doesn't just respond to the conversation, but directs it, leading the dance rather than following. Remember the story of the labor union leader who averted a strike by meticulously studying the company's financial records? That's the power of preparation. It turns obstacles into stepping stones and uncertainty into confidence. Remember, the more prepared you are, the more confident you'll be. A scene script. Let's take a look at some real-world examples of successful negotiations. Consider the historic Camp David Accords of 1978. US President Jimmy Carter managed to mediate a peace agreement between Israel and Egypt. Carter's approach was a blend of affability and tenacity. He built personal connections with both parties, often taking walks and having informal chats. Yet he remained steadfast on the goal of peace, even as negotiations reached a deadlock. His ability to balance diplomacy and toughness was instrumental in reaching an agreement that has endured for over 4 decades. Moving on to the business world, let's recall the merger between Disney and Pixar in 2006. Disney's CEO, Bob Iger, exemplified negotiation finesse. He maintained a friendly demeanor, fostering a positive relationship with Steve Jobs, then CEO of Pixar. Nonetheless, Iger was firm on the substance of the deal, ensuring that it would bring significant value to Disney. His ability to strike a balance between charm and assertiveness led to a successful merger that reshaped the animation industry. Lastly, let's examine the negotiation between the United States and Iran over the nuclear deal in 2015. The lead negotiator for the United States, Secretary of State John Kerry, used his diplomatic skills to establish a rapport with his Iranian counterparts. Yet he remained unwavering on the goal of limiting Iran's nuclear program. His blend of friendliness and firmness was key in reaching an agreement that many thought was impossible. These examples illustrate the power of balancing a friendly demeanor with a firm stance. Whether it's mediating peace treaties, brokering business deals, or negotiating international agreements, the ability to be both likable and resolute can pave the way for successful outcomes. As we've seen, being both friendly and firm can lead to impressive results. Negotiation isn't just about the deal at hand, it's also about building long-term relationships. This statement is steeped in truth. When we negotiate, we aren't merely working towards solving an immediate concern or sealing a single deal. We're also paving the way for future interactions, collaborations, and potentially partnerships. A positive negotiation experience can contribute greatly to building long-term relationships. How so? Well, when both parties feel heard, respected, and valued, it fosters trust. It's this trust that forms the bedrock of any lasting relationship. A harmonious negotiation process is a testament to the negotiator's ability to balance their objectives with the other party's needs. Remember, even in challenging situations, maintaining a respectful tone, showing empathy, and remaining firm on your principles can go a long way. It's not just about winning the battle, it's also about winning the war. And in the world of negotiations, the war is won by building strong, enduring relationships. A successful negotiation isn't the end, but the beginning of a fruitful relationship. In every negotiation, there will be difficult moments, it's a given. The key to navigating these choppy waters is not to avoid them, but to manage them effectively. A good negotiator doesn't panic in the face of adversity, but sees it as a challenge to be overcome. Firstly, keep your cool. It's important to maintain a calm demeanor, even when things are heating up. This can help to de-escalate tension and keep the negotiation on track. Secondly, practice active listening. This shows respect for the other party's viewpoint and can often diffuse a potentially volatile situation. Next, don't be afraid to take a break if things get too heated. A pause can provide valuable time to regroup and reassess your strategy. Finally, redirect negativity into constructive dialogue. This might mean reframing an argument or suggesting a new approach. Remember, every difficult moment is an opportunity to show your negotiation skills. So, what have we learned about the art of negotiation? It's a delicate dance, one that requires the fine-tuning of both your charisma and assertiveness. A successful negotiator is someone who can build a connection through a friendly and engaging tone. They make use of positive body language and gestures, but they also know when to stand their ground, remaining firm on their principles and objectives. Finding common ground is crucial, and it's here that the skills of active listening and empathy come into play. Remember, striking the right balance between a warm demeanor and a tough stance is key to reaching mutually beneficial agreements. And let's not forget the importance of preparation, which can help navigate challenges effectively. As we've seen from our case studies, this balance also contributes to building long-term relationships, even when navigating difficult moments. So go ahead, implement these strategies in your own negotiations. Don't forget to subscribe for more negotiation tips and share your own experiences in the comments. Until next time, happy negotiating.